Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. We are making more Christmas cards. I'm feeling super excited because I worked on Christmas cards this weekend, as in assembling, packetizing, that sort of thing. So I'm actually feeling a little bit like more relief and like we're moving along, and that maybe I really don't need a ton more, like I was kind of thinking. Because I normally send like about 180-ish, and I thought my last count I was at like 120. But I also have random ones like strewn about, and as I've started collecting those, I'm like, I might need to slow down a little bit. So either way, though, it'll be fun, and any extras that I have, I usually donate to a local nursing home or retirement village. Or if I get them sent out in enough time, I send them to Ronald McDonald House in St. Louis, since I'm not very far from there. So that's another option for card donations as well. So don't worry, all of these cards will go to great use in hopes to brighten someone's day this holiday season. And after all, it's hashtag Happy Mail. So we are going to be making these two cards. I'll show you how I made them. Of course, both of these use, my chair is not rolling very well. Both of these use the Feels Like Frost designer series paper. You can see they look totally different. This card here actually uses the one side, which is very picturesque, of like taking a photo of like a winter scene. And do you guys see all those little snowflakes? I couldn't help myself. Ooh, I feel like there's a little dot there, but no snowflake on top. He must have gotten pushed off. So that means it's like a dot with no glittery shine. I had to do more. I did the 3, and then I just had to do more because it just needed it. Oh, and let me show you the inside. Love it. And then the other one uses the back side of this designer series paper, which has a fabulous silver foil look. So some of the sheets are silver foil with like a white pattern, and then other ones are a white background with a silver foil image. For example, this one here you can see is a white background with a silver foil image. And you're probably thinking that's not a white background, Laura, but that's because I added color with the sponge dauber and made it pretty peacock. So I'm going to show you guys how I did both of these. So we're just going to get started with this one first because, actually, no. We'll go ahead and do the other one first because, after all, you probably want to see how I sponged that background since I mentioned it. So I have regular pretty peacock card bases. These are 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half, because I like to say the word half a million times. I always feel like whenever I say that, it's just like rapid fire saying the word half. So that's my card base. And then I need these two pieces and these two pieces. So you can see this piece I actually used underneath there and left it as is. Oh, I don't need this one. So I'm going to set those aside. Bring in just a piece of scrap paper. I have my pretty peacock ink and my sponge dauber. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap onto the ink pad. And then I'm going to show you, I will say the first time I did it, which is actually this sample right here, I kind of went with what I thought I was going to do, which was just like a swirl pattern, like this. But look how, which of course it picks that up because it's folded and stuff, but it's a little bit more concentrated, and I feel like you can really see the circle like motion that I was doing. And I decided that really wasn't that nice. So I did it this other way and covered it up with my greeting there. So I didn't waste the piece. I just worked around it. So I found that the best way to kind of do this, and this is for me because it kind of depends. If you want a darker look, totally go for that. If you want a lighter look, maybe try this technique or even an even lighter technique. So I actually started off the paper because then that main boom of setting the ink down is not on my piece, and so I don't end up with that. So instead, I start off and just do a very, very light back and forth. One of the fun things about doing it like this is that you get really dark edging and a lighter center. So see how the edging is nice and dark and the center is a little bit lighter? I kind of like that. Again, we're going to start off and then go on. And I got a little streaky there, but I think it'll be okay. And again, if you want a darker look, just keep going over it until you get that achieved look. Or press a little harder. I will say the harder you press, sometimes it'll like pull the piece of cardstock up. And that is very apparent when you do the little bitty strip. So if anything, you can always do it as the full 6x6 piece and then cut it down into the pieces that you need for your card. Whoop. So my top and bottom aren't very dark, so I'm just going to kind of brush the top and bottom a little bit more so that it has that same coordinating look. And this little piece is the piece that goes on the inside. It's just a little leftover scrap piece that I didn't want to go to waste, so I didn't. If you're just joining in, welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. Don't forget that in the description box, I do have all of the details for my virtual Stampin Bingo. I'm so excited about that. That is going to be on Friday, December 18th. And you get to do it in the comfort of your home. And you can do it in your PJs. I will most likely have my PJs on. And maybe even a little blankie to keep me warm. But because you never know what the weather's going to be like here in the Midwest on December 18th. Although this baby is keeping me warm, so I actually prefer the colder temperature. And we're going to have so much fun. We're going to play 6 games of bingo. And then afterwards, we will do a stamp along where we'll do the 4 projects that you will get included in your packet that will be mailed to you. So you can stamp along with us, or you can always do that on your own at a different time. And the super cool part about it is that all of the prizes are going to be gift certificates. So you get to pick out whatever you want. And so you don't have to worry about already owning the item or possibly not liking it or something like that, because you get to pick whatever you want. How fabulous is that? So now we're just going to put that piece on the front of our card base. You'll notice that the back side is that snowy photographic image of a pine branch and a little pine cone. If you have any other questions about Stampin' Bingo, then let me know and or reach out to me. You can either let me know in the comments and I'll respond there, or just reach out to me and I can answer any of those questions for you. The registration deadline will be at the beginning of December so that I have enough time to be able to mail all of the goodies to you, because you'll be getting all of the pre-cut card product and samples and stuff, as well as the bingo cards and other prizes and goodies. So this is just a piece of Whisper White that's going on the inside, and I added that little strip of Designer Series paper off to the left. And then I can stamp my greeting off to the right. Which do you guys prefer? Do you like to stamp your greeting up high, down low, or in the middle? I'm kind of all over the place, but I would say that up high is probably my least normal. I typically do either in the center or sometimes I just do like down in the corner. Okay. So now this strip is just going to be placed on the front as a little decoration piece. And I'm actually going to put a snowflake underneath. And this snowflake, I'm just adding a little dab of adhesive in the center. And I just use a half a snowflake because then I can get more out of each die cut image. So whenever I die cut these from the So Many Snowflakes dies, then I get this giant snowflake. Well, if I put the giant snowflake on there as a full one, and then I put my greeting over the top, I'm pretty much covering up half of that snowflake. So rather than die cutting out one of these for every single project, I can die cut one of them and get it to be useful for multiple projects. So that is super, super awesome, kind of stretching your production, especially if you're making multiples of these. So there's our first snowflake down. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. And this is on the nested stitched labels. And my greeting is, "May your seasons sparkle." I feel like with snowflakes and stuff, there's a lot of sparkles. So this was very fitting. And this goes on with Stampin' Dimensionals. No surprise there, huh? How was everybody's weekend? Hi, Susan. Welcome. We actually got the nursery painted. I'm so excited. It is gray, and we are loving the color. And it's just so fun and fresh to have it just new. You know, it's not the same thing as when we moved in. And I'm really finding this house becoming more, you know, like a home instead of just a house that we moved into, because we're changing things slowly. And so it's not the house that we originally moved into that felt like it was somebody else's. We're really starting to make it our own, and that is super, super fun. We're actually going to paint the little small half bath down here in the basement that same gray, and that way we can decorate it with a pop of a different color anytime we want. Right now it's kind of like a gray and like gray, white, and I almost want to say neon orange, but that just sounds like a little crazy. So it's like a orangey peachy color, if you want to call it that. Okay, so I only have a few snowflakes here. I didn't die cut any extras, so I'm actually going to use these in a couple other spots. So this one's going to kind of go up top here. And that one I might actually just leave like that and add some rhinestones. And then this one I'll add the little one as well as a little bit of this one, because this one is a different style. And of course with the snowflakes, you can always add it with the fine tip glue pen or any sort of adhesive of your choice. Some of these are big enough that you'd be able to use a mini glue dot too. And then we're just going to add this little guy. I love the fine tip glue pen, but it also is kind of tedious, and so I don't really, if I have another option, I will probably take it because I just find it so tedious. But just add just a very little, place it down, and I like to hold it for a good 10 seconds or so, giving it a chance to really soak into the cardstock and get that nice, strong attachment. When I pulled the lid off, the whole lid came off. Ooh. There is a lot of glue up in there. Okay, now might not be the time to clean that out, but I'm going to put this back in there because I can't see where the needle is with that knot in there first. But it's just dried glue. And then I always find it best to stick the needle back in by sort of using my finger as a guide to be able to slide that in there because it is a fine tip. Okay, now we need to add our rhinestones. Ooh. I'm just going to grab my take your pick tool and pop a few rhinestones on there. How cute is that? You can always use regular rhinestones, or I actually, on this one, I use the light blue rhinestones from the holiday rhinestone pack. So you could go either way on using regular rhinestones or using a different rhinestone color of your choice. One of the other things that I wanted to let you guys know about is you can color your rhinestones with Sharpie markers. So sometimes, of course, the colors are going to be a little bit different than a Stampin' Up! Color, but you can still get that fabulous look. Now, I will say Sharpie markers are best because then it won't rub right off. Because if you just used a regular alcohol marker, or I'm sorry, not an alcohol marker, you can use Stampin' Blends too, but regular Stampin' Right marker, then those will just rub right back off and not permanently like color the rhinestone. Okay, so here is our other card. Fairly simple. I have a purple posy card base. This measures 5.5 by 8.5. Fold it in half. So it's pretty much the same every time. And then I have a piece of Seaside Spray measuring 4 by 5.25. And then the Designer Series paper Feels Like Frost is 3 3/4 by 5. So I just layered those, and then I added some of this ribbon, which is just very subtle, but very soft. So it kind of adds a little bit of texture to the card, but yet doesn't like overwhelm it or steal the show from that gorgeous background. And then I want to show you how I did this super fun greeting. So I used my everyday label punch, and I used the Highland Heather. So you can see I punched out a full punch. And then I have this little strip of cardstock. This is leftover Whisper White from cutting something else. Let's see. I think it's just a quarter or a half an inch. It is a half an inch. So anytime I'm doing, let's see, if I did a 4-inch and a 4-inch for like that inside white piece, so this is 4 by 5.25, that leftover little strip is a half. So that's where this comes from. And I'm using the greeting from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set, which has a lot of like skinny, small greetings, so it's perfect. I'm using Celebrate the Season, but there's a lot. There's like Merry Christmas. I don't know. It's out there somewhere. I guess I should have grabbed it. Shouldn't I have? Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings, a lot of different things. So I'm just going to stamp it right on to this scrap piece of paper. And that's a little low. So I'm going to stamp it again. Since I always am cutting pieces that are 4 by 5.25 for layering, I have tons of scraps of these. So I'm not really that concerned about, you know, making a mistake or not stamping it right. So then I'm going to slide it into this everyday label punch right there in the middle where that little loop is. So you can see it's right there in the middle, centered because I've already stamped it. And then I'm just going to punch. So that's the boo-boo one. So now I'm just going to puzzle piece this into the Highland Heather one. And that is how you get that fabulous layered greeting using just one punch and not having to do any sort of fussy cutting. How awesome is that? I obviously need more Stampin' Dimensionals over on my craft table. So right now I'm kind of just using odds and ends of leftover borders of other packs. Ooh, don't really need that much, even though I am a dimensional overuser. And then this is just gonna go on the right-hand side of my ribbon. And on the inside, I actually stamped Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And then I used some of those fabulous adhesive backed snowflakes to just add all over the front. These sometimes I find a little bit easier to use the pancake flipper side of my take your pick tool. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're going to be difficult for me today, so looks like the other side is working much better. So you have that little hint of shimmer and shine on there. Isn't that gorgeous? It really makes the wintry look of it a little bit more like, you know, whenever you go out and there's that deep frost and you like look around and you can see everything kind of has that rainbow shine to it, and it's so, so fabulous. So that was kind of the look that I was going for on this one. So let's do that again for the greeting. This might be too small, but we're still going to try it. Slide it in, line it up right there with the two loops of the punch, the bubble here and the bubble there. And again, if it's like a little high or a little low, for example, you can see it's really off on this side, but I still think I'm going to use it because I don't think you'll really notice. And I can always embellish with a little snowflake in that spot if I think it looks a little off. Boy, I was really off on that one. But we're still going to go with it. And I'm just going to put a snowflake over the top. After all, what's the main reason of why we embellish? To cover up a boo-boo. No one has to know that. Made with love, not perfection. So we're just going to add a little snowflake. Had a little fuzzy next to it. Down there. And now you can't even tell. I almost feel like a third one doesn't go on the label on this one. I also used a leftover strip from the 6x6 sheet of this paper to put on the inside too. So it was extra wide because I really just wanted to use as much of it as I could. Hi, Tammy. You got those sequins in the mail today? Yeah, they were on back order for a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that they're caught up because I got some in the mail, I want to say maybe Saturday. Either that or it was sooner than that. I don't really remember. But yeah, they were on back order for a little bit as everyone is loving them. They're just so useful to add a little bit of bling during this winter season. And like, I think they're great for Christmas cards, but I also think they'll be great for just general all occasion winter cards, like winter birthdays or winter thinking of you or anything like that. Well, I thought I had enough purple labels, but apparently not. unless one of those is sticking together with another one. I feel like there's probably dimensionals like hiding out all over this table that I just can't seem to find. But in the meantime, I'll just use up all the borders to all of these packs of mini dimensionals that I have. Because after all, no dimensional left behind. Here at the end, I'll show you guys the fun samples that we'll be doing for virtual bingo. So there's a total of 4 samples. There's still time to get in. It is Friday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So you can do it from the comfort of your home, which is awesome. Because then you can stay cozy and safe at home and not have to worry about getting out. I know, like, once it gets dark, like, time change happens, I'm like we usually would run errands after supper, and now I'm just like, we're not running errands after supper, it's bedtime, because it's dark already, and it's so crazy. But yeah, here are all of our purple cards, and then, of course, our pretty peacock cards that we made using the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. So super fun and great ways to make either winter cards or holiday Christmas themed cards too. So super fun. Now I'm going to show you the samples for virtual Stampin' Bingo. So it's a total of 4 cards. 2 of them will be like this, but you will get different Designer Series paper. So there's You Are My Sunshine and Make Today Ridiculously Awesome. And then there's also this one that's You've Got This. But I did end up doing the same greeting on the back, but there's also another greeting that I punched, and I'm not sure what I did with it. But it was super cute too. So you can always do it in the center. You could do it off to the side, anything like that. But you will be getting all the supplies to make both of these. And those fabulous little jewels there, you will be getting an entire pack of those. So you can use a few on your project if you wish, but then you can also use these on any future projects. So that's one of the little sneak peeks that I'm going to let you guys in on that will be coming in your packet when you sign up for virtual Stampin' Bingo. But there's others too, and I'm going to try to zip my lips and not tell you. I'm horrible at keeping secrets. So we're just going to leave it at that, and I'm not even going to bring them over to this table so that I can't reach and grab for it and show you guys what those are too. But there's still time to sign up for virtual Stampin' Bingo. Check out the link in the description for more details on it, as well as the registration form, so that you can get signed up and ready to go. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to play 6 games of bingo. Everything's going to be provided for you, except for the stamps and ink for these projects. You can use any greeting stamp set that you wish, but you can also, on the registration form, you can purchase this specific stamp set, which is called Ridiculously Awesome. So you can use this one if you don't have it. You can always purchase it, or you can always use any greeting stamp set of your choice. I can't wait for Stampin' Bingo. I'm so excited about it. I absolutely love bingo, and you guys all know how much I love stamping. So it's going to be a super, super fun night, and I can't wait. I hope you guys all had a wonderful time stamping along with me today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you back here on Friday at 12:15. Of course, throughout the week, if you miss me a lot, you can always check me out here on Facebook, Check out my blog, laurastamppad.com, which I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you get a little in between. Monday and Friday, you get Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. Tuesday, Thursday, you get blog posts. And then here on Facebook, I have lots of samples and ideas. So you can always check those out. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys. You're amazing, and I appreciate you so much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye.